Yes, another day back on the scene. All right. We're going to discuss a little bit of yesterday topic and then go into what we're talking about, what happens when Kundalini activate, or really what happens when my Kundalini activate. So I get to talk in peace for a quick minute. Peace and blessings, welcome. All right, so I'm gonna try to go into some other stuff before I start the subject on what happens with Kundalini activation and zodiac organs. But for we was talking about yesterday, revealing your true self. I wanted to add on to that when we talking about revealing our true self, and that's ascension. Knowing thyself, the different aspects of yourself. And it's not now just reveal yourself, be yourself. I did put it in those terms, but there is a second part to it that I didn't mention. With being yourself and actually, acting out yourself now, being the true you, using your true intuition, saying how you truly feel. It's not a perfect you, it's not a perfect world. So when you be yourself, right, and this is in reference to ascension, revealing your true self. One love, Donna Suave. I do mean in the sense you're gonna find yourself making a lot of errors, a lot of mistake, and so when you do, that's when you configure yourself to this reality more um, correct, more precisely. So that's the reason why you have to be yourself. When you be yourself, you'll be able to see your incorrectness, your wrongness. That's the limitations that I was telling you about. So that's the process. Peace and blessing, Chris Star. I seek greetings. So by you actually now revealing your true self, you become conscious of your mistakes, how you treat people. The stuff that you had in your head becomes real now. You act it out instead of holding it in, because that brings a lot of portals. You open up portals when you start thinking. You don't think. Your cells is always talking to you. All your cells is alive, and we call these thoughts. So they're constantly bombarding you, and you only focus on what is actually important to you at the immediate moment. So you can have over 1 million thoughts coming to you, but you're only gonna focus on 100,000 that is dealing with it. I'm at work, but listening. That's what's up, I seek. I appreciate you tuning in while you're at work. You know, and so now by you actually what were we saying? Being yourself, that is, and you're able to tune to your true self. You're able to see your mistakes, and then you configure yourself pretty much. So that's the reason why you have to reveal your true self. It's not you're always gonna live in your head, and like I said, that open up portals. Portals, you would call it suspicion. Blessing, big smile, YouTube. That's good. What's good? Blessings. Oh, Moisey. What's up, Moisey? That's what's up, Moisey. I ain't seen you in a minute. God bless you, Moisey. For real. What's up? How you been? That's good. That's good. Okay, now, suspicion. I was just saying, suspicion actually opens up portal. It makes you think, and these portals put demons in your ears, two sides of you, and they start telling you things, and so you start calculating, misjudging, making errors. These is usually how we think inside. We do a lot of calculations before we answer something, before we do something, and so that's where suspicion now, being that it's so much on TV with 48 hours, Judge Mathis, all this, what program not to act. We're programmed to double think everything that we're being told to do from the ancestors to actually our own people in front of us. We have a pre-notion in our mind of what we see of them, even though they're speaking their words, their truth, their illusion, whatever you want to call it. Yes. And so, blessings. Thank you. All is well. Nice to see you. That's what's up. All right. Yes, Mosey. And so we tend to miss out on what the universe is trying to teach us when we actually put these suspicions in our head. We only put in from past experience what we've been through, and the hurt is the suspicion of your past, your trauma, and it triggers you to, whoa, pause for a minute and treat this person the same way like how that treated you at that time that some trauma took place in your life. But in doing so, you ruin an opportunity. You also sometimes do retrograde where you repeat something again to see if you do it right this time. Those that was traumatized that has these suspicion, usually the cause of these suspicion is because they themselves went into that experience with a fucked up mind, scheming. Some way or another, they were scheming and they came out on the short end of the stick, which traumatized them. And so from then on, they don't trust nobody, such as love, relationships. And then we wind up now putting up this wall that we actually block who's supposed to be coming in and block all of our blessings that we're supposed to get because of our suspicion. And so if you're able to see that, you know, you made a mistake, there is nothing in the universe that come to you that don't belong to you unless you pervert it in some type of way or manner with your mind, with how your intentions wasn't. And so when it comes back around to you, maybe it won't happen the second time because you're not handling it with the same mind state that you had the first time. So by changing your thinking, it actually changed the results of an action that you're going to involve yourself in. So suspicion is like a demon, and we don't really do suspect. You give everybody the benefit of the doubt. That's the same thing as judging something. So judge, be judged. I just wanted you to understand suspicion comes along when we start to second guess our experiences. There's only honesty in experience. Honesty only takes a second for you to match it up. It's the cause of an effect. You know the cause of an effect, just like animals, when something about to happen, they bounce. They know what's going to happen. So it's the same with us. We just like to use logic, reason, and try to make it into something else. All right, so I was saying before we get into what happens with Kundalini, I wanted to like read some stuff that I've been, pulling up. All right, now this is off subject for a minute, but I'm gonna just read this to you so you get a great understanding of some stuff that probably will clear up for you. It's only like 3 little sheets, but not too many people know about these. This is about the demiurge. All right. Okay. Now it says, let me see if I can hold it so you can see it too at the same time. It says, the demiurgus of the Egyptians, this supreme god, the god creator of the world, was Amun, Ammon. He was also called Amun-Re, Ammon-Re, the same as Zeus of the Greeks, the Jupiter of the Latins. The Egyptians believe him to have been the spirit which pervaded all things, the creating spirit which brought to light all things. He was the god of the Ethiopians. So you see Ethiopia with the whole thing they got. Religion come from Ethiopia, the whole cave of what Jesus and all that stuff is and all that. That's all Ethiopian, which is Egyptian. So you see it's the same God. So when they were saying like Zeus is actually the same God that we worship right now. And then his name just changed. He's still Ra and he's still Amun-Ra. It's still the same person. You've always been worshiping, which is what? The sun. Okay, now he was the god of the Ethiopians and Egyptians who carried his name and his worship by the immigration into Libya. See over here, they say it comes from Libya. If you see the word over this, that would be West Africa. So y'all understand that whole Niger area, right? From the most remote antiquity. That's what it says right here. It says by their emergence. Let me put it up so you can see the word Libya over here. You see Libya from ancient antiquity. So that means it was there from a very long time ago. The principal place in which he was most particularly worshipped were the city of Meru, M-E-R-O-E, Meru in Ethiopia, the oasis in Libya, and the cities of Thebes and Memphis in Egypt. His images cover the magnificent monuments of the ancient city, which is in Egyptian theology, was called the city of Amun, which the Greeks have faithfully translated by Dr. Diospolis, that is the city of Zeus or Jupiter. So when you translate Amun and all that, it comes out to Zeus or Jupiter. So Jupiter is God. Our God is Jupiter. Our God is Zeus. It's the same person. Jupiter and Zeus, you get Jesus. 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 Same thing. It's just all wordplay that they do and change up the image. So now Egyptian theology was called the city of Amun, which the Greeks have faithfully translated by Dr. Diospolis, that is the city of Zeus or Jupiter. It is in fact to Amun or Amun-Re that the principal, this is what, 125, 120, oh, I read it backwards. I gave y'all the first page first. My bad. One of the leading observations, however, I think myself justified in making, and that is that we were not to borrow from the Greeks our notion of the Egyptian deities, because the Greeks, either through pride or ignorance or both, endeavored to find some kind of similarity between the Egyptian gods and goddesses in their own. When point of fact, there is not the least degree of similarity between them. The Egyptians' gods were originally but the representation of several attributes of the deity, such as his truth, his justice, his mercy, his omnipotence, his power of creation, and his power of destruction, all expressed symbolically under the sign of these objects, which was thought either to possess some great power or exhibit a remarkable degree of strength, affection, good nature, impartiality, and like. Although perhaps in progress of time and after the lapse of age, the ignorant people might have taken them as different distinct deities or beings actually existent, for it appears to me as clear as possible that the inventor of the Egyptian theology admitted and held but one God, who governed the world by means of his several attributes. In the description, therefore, that I shall give you of some of the principal gods and goddesses of the Ethiopian pantheon, you will always find that they were but a representation of an attribute of the demiurge, the supreme being. So you see, like all the gods, Thoth, Heru, all of those is just attribute of one person. Like all of us on a whole, the population is the same attribute of one person. You understand? So everybody, like in Egypt, they called themselves Thoth. Once you was in your higher self, everybody name is Thoth. All the high priest names is Thoth and Ra. So it wasn't one person designated. It was like we only individualize ourselves from our experience, but you came here as one God. You're the God itself, but you forgot. But once you get back your memory through initiation, all of this comes back to you. So you become the same. And we spiritually connect. So everybody, when you awaken, connects to everybody else who awaken, and they don't be that individual no more. They're one collective mind, one whole, the same Ra, the same Isis, the same God, the same whatever you want it, we're the same. So they got it as the 72 names of God, but it's 72 aspects of the same. Just like in the Gotia, it's 72 demons. It's the same 72 names. In you, the 72 demons got buried into the chamber of Solomon, which is your subconscious mind. That's the temple, the subconscious. And the wall is actually what separates the two worlds. You have a conscious world and a subconscious world. The subconscious world controls your conscious world. So the advertisement is fed to your subconscious mind so it could control your conscious mind. All right, now let me go into something else real quick. I had a crazy night of meditation. It's deep. It's deep, very powerful. What's going on, Michael Lawrence? The line. I see you got a new that's a YouTube name now. I guess you got a new YouTube. That's what's up. All right, what's going on? All right, so let's get into what happens when your Kundalini activate. All right, now, I was going through a lot with activation. It just happened spontaneously, instantly. And when it happened for me, it wasn't something that I was pleased with. It was traumatizing. It was scary, from reading the books. And that's the only way I could configure myself to make sense of what's going on, is find something that can help me. I found out that upon these two forces touching, you got two crisscross, this Hermes wave, or you could say it's the genetic symbol. These two is going down your spine. There's two forces that never touch. Ida and Pingala, Isis, Osiris. They never touch until you have sex. When you have sex, they touch. They touch when you come. That's the explosion. Them two touch, those two forces. And so you talking for people to reach this level and actually get in touch with their higher self, it had to be through sex. Sexuality brought it close together as far as, say, if you were stimulated, it's closer to each other. That's what brings about stimulation. But that also was a way to actually um, what, charge yourself. You're a capacitor that holds charges. Each charge, after it reaches a certain amount of charge, it implodes. With each imploding, leading to what's called a pop in Kundalini. Each pop, it's like busting out of a shell to eventually come out inside of you. So you get Kundalini pops, where you feel heat in your lower part, maybe your vagina. For a man to be like by his belly button area, this energy that compresses tight sometimes, and a lot of females, it makes them horny, it makes them, sexual. Men too, the same thing. That's why we wake up with stiffies every day. This is all a part of this Kundalini activation. And so now when this starts, you start understanding sexuality. Peace and blessing, K Diva. um all right. Now, once you start understanding what this energy is, it takes on a different tone. Because now, if you notice, a lot of Egyptian temples, Indian temples from back in the days had a lot of sex poses all over. So did the Greeks. They even had men's involved in it, where we call them homosexuals because they have men's aligned. Same thing like in India, back to back, like a menage a trois. Everybody's having sex naked, one into the other, into the other. Well, that was more real for us back then, and it still is. We just do it behind closed door. Right. Everything, like you say, Kamar, Paul Bar, it's actually Tantra. It's actually what we did. We live Tantra. It's our natural instincts to do Tantra. But we lost it through the church and religion and all that stuff. Call me Cam. Okay, Cam. Oh, that's you, Cam? Okay, that's what's up. Peace and blessings, Cam. And this tantra that we used to do now, it actually ascends people because it actually take you out your body, it activates your Kundalini. So you would see people like Osho. You remember Osho? If I give y'all a great show to watch, man, it's incredible. Which is called Wild Wild Country on Netflix. Osho, it's the story of Osho. He shows you everything and reveal everything. So Tantra was our way. Mantra is different, K Diva, from Tantra. Those two don't go together in such like how you just worded Tantra, mantra. The original name of it was Tantrika. Tantrika is the real way, modernized Tantra. But you would really look for Tantrika if you was really searching out the ancient books of it. So what we're looking at as now is a system that was designed to ascend people. That you had Buddhism, Hinduism, and Tantra. Tantra come from the people of West Africa. Those Magi's, those Afris brought Tantra to the stage. And they actually changed people biochemistry by just being around them. Their magnetic field gave off an energy that activated everybody. This Cam says Osho is from a Guru Nanak lineage. Lord Enki, what do you think about Skimhimish? The religion itself is only about 500 years old and is one do the biggest popular religions. I really didn't get into it, but I know about it. Yes, it's a wonderful religion, and it's the truth. It's part of yoga, Patanjaliya. Patanjaliya, Kiri Yoga, Hatha Yoga, all of those prepare you for those worlds. Every type of yoga actually prepare you to see in another dimension. Yoga itself is the key to unlocking yourself. It's yoga. The word just means union of all energies. So you unite yourself with energies. The gods is energy. You and your pure form is energy. So when you're union in energy, which is yoga, you unite all forces in one without duality, polarity, anything. No male, no female, no difference, no good, no bad. You just is. That's enlightenment. So you would want to search out a guru to actually teach you. You know, I'm a guru myself, and your teachings is everything. When you submit to a guru, you do his will, because it's a teaching that is not in a book. It's not, has no orthodox style to it. It's more catered to the individual according to the individual's ego, his resistance, his tolerance. So the guru knows the person, and it's a one-on-one relationship that the guru is gonna stress him the fuck out, bring him out. What do you do? What do you do in hatha yoga or kiri yoga? Michael, I'll break that down 1 second. The guru is gonna kill you over and over again. We call killing defecation, but it's actually a renewal. You becoming renewed, twice born. So every time your character come, their job is to kill it, kill it, kill it. So you run through all the spirit, all the 125. It's the same thing like we was talking about with the movie The One, and you're killing every spirit inside of you. So every spirit actually has something to do to block you from being a full enlightened conscious being. So they go through all of them and try to get you back into your order. All right. It seems like somebody's calling from me or something. So if I get distracted for a minute, don't pay me no mind. All right. So now when we're talking about the yogas, hatha yoga, series of poses and body alignments with a synchronous breath inhalation and exhalation would help you bend deeper. Yoga unlocks your nadis or nerves with information channels. All right, basically it goes something like that, Cam, but it's deeper than that. I'm gonna break it down to you because that's how we in the West look at it. It's nothing like that. You know, first of all, yoga itself is a activation of actually a continuation of what your evolution is. Your process of growth continues beyond 21, but it's happening biochemically inside your body. And you don't know when you're going to have your first Kundalini pop because it comes from different experiences. So there's two ways. There's natural way that people are just going to pop your Kundalini activate, which is an indigo, a star child, a crystal baby. They have it. It's just natural. Then you have those that impose it by actually inducing yoga within themselves. And when they induce it in themselves, they go through the different levels of it, either slowly or sometimes by just inducing it a little bit, you just set off a whole chain reaction that you're not ready for yourself. So basics of yoga is like most of the people who go into it is already activating or empaths and is having trouble with anxiety, fear, you know, diseases in their life. So they're actually needing yoga to balance out their energies because the anxiety won't go away. These nadis start opening on their own. Their lily flowers start unfolding. So the first things that you have to learn is actually discipline of the mind. We're going to talk about hatha yoga to begin with and go into the Teo Chi to make sense of what we're saying. So when you look at hatha yoga, hatha, hatha, it just means ha is the sun and tha is the moon. Hatha means sun, moon. That's all it means. So you learn in the first two lessons that I had told you, which is sun staring and moon staring. Actually, that's what hatha do. Now with hatha, it's actually a purification, a discipline first. You're going to learn of your mind, to quiet the thoughts, to quiet your chittas. Your chitta is the chattering. The chitta make you cannot see your true self. You never was the personality or character such as Michael D. Line. That's a lie. That's a made-up construct that you believe your parents told you. You didn't name yourself. You don't know who you are. You don't know why you're here. You just participating in what's going on because you see everybody doing it. Hatha yoga breaks that out of you. It's to break your repetitive habits of the matrix, your patterns. So you will first learn to quiet yourself and discipline. Discipline yourself means learning to eat correct first. So the first step in hatha yoga by disciplining your mind is you saying no to food. By you saying no to food, that shows a disciplined mind. A disciplined mind renders a disciplined body. A disciplined body could take the ancestors' energy that's going to be coming down on you. It could take seeing these scary beings without tripping out. So hatha yoga is the first step you have to take. Then come Patanjali yoga. So if you don't understand hatha, let me see if I have a hatha yoga book here to give you the basics of it. It's very important for us to understand every one of these designed in a system, that you don't just go and jump to one. You have to start from the first to get to the second to get to the third, because they're activating you in series so that you don't trip out and lose your mind. The average person will lose their mind and go crazy seeing forces. You feel like somebody's having sex with you. You feel like somebody is out to take your soul. All of these is natural feelings that come along with the process of hatha yoga. And so, not even hatha yoga, with Kundalini. So, I found it right here. We're going to look at hatha yoga pradakya from Yoga Swami. I just broke it down to you, but I'm going to give it to you textbook style so you could get to see. Um, Once you get to understand the different parts of it, your nadis, your prana, you will understand the journey you will have to take. And in the indigenous being, you do hatha yoga and don't know you're doing hatha yoga. That's what you do daily. All right, we're going to look at the fundamental principles. Let me see. I just want to get past the beginning of it. All right. We could go with the prerequisite. Let me make sure. 1 second, y'all. Okay. I got a better yoga book. I want to see if I could pull that one up. The one I like to read from that one, it's good and it's top notch. Any hatha yoga book you get is on point. I've dealt with a few of them, but I got one that I've been using, and I want to use that one particularly because it goes into detail, and we need the detail part of it. We're not really into it, so we just need the basics with good understanding. So let me just pull up this hatha book that I recommend. All right. Let me see. If I don't see it, I'm going to just go back to that one. But I try to keep a few of them. Yeah, my book list is crazy, man. You could scroll forever. Oh, this is the bottom right here. All right. And you see we got Kiri Yoga at the bottom here. You understand? But just to show you, look, ain't this something? I've read all of these already. Everything there. And this is like on my tablet, but my phone is even, forget it. I'm a beast when it comes to stuff like that. My mind is like, it just want information. It just want information. Just want information. When it get it, it be telling me, no, this is wrong. This is not how it goes. This is how it goes. It's like it knows everything, but it just got here. And it need data. That's why you have to study. You have to research. You have to read. Not for you. It's what's inside of you. What's inside of you wants that because it knows something is wrong here. And if you don't give it the information it needs to configure itself, it's going to start just disassociating from you. And then you will be like a lost soul. You feel like, damn, where is it? All right, here go the one I wanted to use. You see it right here? This is hatha yoga right here. See this? All right. Thank y'all for bearing with me for a second while I find it. All right. Now, this one, it gives you a more definite, like, what is hatha yoga? What is this? So we get to it. So we're going to start off with just that, what it says. What is hatha yoga? So it says the science of yoga is divided into several branches. Among the best known and leading divisions are 1, hatha yoga, 2, raja yoga, and 3, karma yoga, 4, gnana yoga. This book is devoted only to the first one named and will be attempt to describe the others at other times. So let's get into it. Hatha yoga is that branch of yoga philosophy which deals with the physical body, its care, its well-being, its health. So there it is off the gate. So once you realize hatha yoga is the discipline of your mind, which disciplines your body, then you could take the ancestors. So you would look at these people as, why can't anybody do it? Big, fat, small. You can't. That's why you need hatha yoga first. Your body got to be able to take these. It's like me, but as a ghost, and I come down on you, and you wear me. That's all Osho is doing. And once he comes in the room, everybody feel his energy. You don't remember? And you watch Wild Wild Country. He just comes in the room, people pass out, people go crazy. He only comes out once in a few months, and when he do, everybody faints. Everybody, they cry, they go crazy. So you get to understand the type of energy you wearing here. That this is what's going on. I'm not telling you nothing superficial. I tell the truth. All right, now here we go. Hatha yoga is the branch of yoga of the philosophy which deals with the physical body, its care and its well-being, its health, its strength, and all that tends to keep it in its natural, normal state of health. It teaches as a natural mode of living and voice the cry which has been taken up by many of the Western world. Let us get back to nature, accepting that the yoga does not have to get back, for he is already there. But he has always clung close to nature and her ways, and has not dazzled and befooled by the mad rush towards externals, which cause the modern citizens races to forget that such a thing as nature exists. And that's what happened. We forget about nature and everything that happens in it and who we truly are. That's why I'm showing y'all nature, natural things. These activate your organs, activate what's inside of you that we don't know. And we're going to get into that because this is titled The Zodiac Organs. And you got to understand, when we activate through Kundalini, which is very important, you open up your magnetic field, and the organs on you is controlled by the 12 zodiacs. Like mine is the knees. This Capricorn is on the knees. So when you activate, you're going to feel little strange pulses and feelings just on your knees. You got Gemini, I think, is at the feet. No, what is it at the feet? Pisces is at the bottom of your feet. They give you kinesthesia, the real feeling. So they come back. You're like a god that all 12 of them come and hold you now and take you through your organs. And this is not me philosophizing or telling you a theory. This is facts. That's what it controls. The moon controls your emotions. The archons control your organs. But they come back to you and they give you freedom. You can't war with them. You're nobody to them. Imagine how many generations came before them. Beasts, creatures, animals. Nobody could beat them. God initiate that. They're the defense. They're God's line first of defense. For you to get to God, you got to get through them. You can't get to God unless you pass them. So they didn't come and make themselves up. That demiurge can't make itself up. God put that there. It's for you. Just want you to understand that it's not to fight. There's no physical body. It don't have a physical body. You could will and imagine you have swords in your hand and swing them all you want. What are you chopping? A physical body, right? Your perception can only see this reality. So you would do what you would do in this reality. So you're swinging at light with a real sword. What are you doing? This world is held together by that world, the spirit world. If they had wars, contention, this world would fall apart. I didn't mean your emotions. Emotions is controlled by the stars and the archons. I said the world itself is held together by the spirit world. If they're not at war, this world is not it can't fall apart. It's steady. The planets and the sun and the moon follow a steady course. So they're steady with their side. No war. Everybody's equal. Everybody is one. No matter if it's a lion, a snake, a hyena, whatever it is, a giant, they're one. It's in this world we have duality. You understand what I'm saying? So we think that we're supposed to fight them. But read Egyptian books. Who fights? They worshiped them or represented them and told them what they was. So that's your journey. You have to understand. It's not really a journey of going in there battling and thinking you're better than everybody who came before you and you stood a chance. Everyone they defeat, they learn something new. So imagine how many people they done fought in their lifetime that gave them the skills to stay up there and do what they're doing. They're there to protect the upper worlds from us going up there as mundanes and thinking we could go up there and do physical things, that we could attack things and beat it up and do what we want. And this one is against me and that one is against me. This is good and that's bad. That's only in your program. That's not real. I just wanted to put you on to that. All right. I want to get now into the body and so you can understand what's going on here. I'm looking for the actual page now about the sun and the moon in reference to hatha yoga. What does it mean and our selves? Okay, let's keep it going. So, if y'all understand just the basics of what I'm saying, then you will understand why the body and everything has to be set into this type of way through hatha yoga. Because as you unlock the entities or the gods or the archons that come back to your organs, going to make you feel uncomfortable. You feel you're having a spiritual attack. Something is trying to get you. And so by you feeling these things, you're going to actually bug out. You're going to have, mental disease. And tell people that, yo, you saw this, you saw that, and you're going to go crazy. So hatha is designed to calm all that down, relax, and just take the journey. But discipline yourself, because you're going to eat and do a lot of things out of fear. So they try to get your mind right. And then there's another level to it. So let me go back into this so that we can finish. The yogi philosophy teaches that God gives to each individual a physical machine adapt to his needs, and also supplies him with the means of keeping it in order and of repairing it if it had negligence, allow it to become inefficient. The yogis recognize the human body as the handiwork of a great intelligence. They regard this organism as a working machine, the conception and operation of which indicates the greatest wisdom and care. They know that the body is because of a great intelligence, and they know that the same intelligence is still operating through the physical body, and that as the individual falls in with the working of the divine law, so will he continue in health and strength. They also know that man runs contrary to the law, in harmony and disease result. They believe that it is ridiculous to suppose that the great intelligence caused the beautiful human body to exist and then run away and left it to its fate. For they know that the intelligence still preside over each and every function of the body and may be safely trusted and not feared. So you see, there's something in your body that you don't know exists that they tap into. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. The body itself is separate from you. It's already alive. You don't control your body. If you free your control, which is the sacral chakra, a lot of people's control freaks, they squeeze their abs and they're more wanting to know everything before it happens. Got to have a control over anything that is in nature. They need to know first. And so those type of people, you have to realize you have to free yourself up so your body can heal itself. It's self-heal, it's self-propel. It don't need food for it to survive. It eats light and turns light into any chemical through heat. The body is an alchemical furnace, a bank. And so it makes mana, it makes all the different chemicals your body need, but you got to allow it. You can't think you know what it needs. You don't know what it needs. You only know what you desire, and that's all you put in there. And so Hatha Yoga teaches you all these things. So I'm just giving you a little overview of it. The intelligence, the manifestation of which we call nature or the life principle, and similar names, is constantly on the alert to repair damage, heal wounds, knit together broken bones, to throw off harmful materials which have accumulated in the system, and in thousands of ways to keep the machine in good running order. Much that we would call disease is really a deficient action of nature designed to get rid of poisonous substances which have allowed to enter and remain in our system. So you got to understand, that's what diseases are. It's not something bad. It's something you have to overcome, and only you could overcome it, not a doctor, not nobody. When you get a disease, it's a spiritual calling to learn how to be a healer. And all of us are healers, but we just don't know we're healers, and we run to the doctor and forfeit our right and our passage to healing. That would be your first lesson. I learned my healing from when I was sick, when I caught my sicknesses, which was hyperthyroid, parathyroid, I had Hashimoto, a few more things. And once I learned to heal myself, my way, going to the doctor for years, taking pills, It was a permanent change. I had to stop eating certain foods, certain seasoning, and my body stood the same, my health stood the same. And it's the same for every human being. And that would be the discipline in it. I would love to eat certain food, your ham hocks and your chicken wings and your macaroni and cheese, but I can't no more. That was culture. Culture made us eat those things that killed us to send us to the pharmaceutical companies, send us to the doctors, send us to all the businesses, supermarket. And so once you realize those things was just part of culture, you have to leave culture to see who you are, what's best for the biochemistry of my body. And you would see those things was not it. They actually designed to give you 70 years of life and then you're dead. Half life. You're supposed to do the 140, not 70. And at 70, you're supposed to run around and feel like a little child, not like an old person. Anyways, let me go back in. So I wanted to actually get into our spirituality because we don't follow yoga, much less any of these type of disciplines, and it is based on the indigenous practice that all indigenous people at one time had to do to awaken. It was called the initiation. It was part of what a child would have been taken away from his mother at age 6, 7, up to 12, because he was attached to her. And when they did that is to break attachments. We can't be attached to anything. And they would take him into the woods or a wilderness someplace, and they would teach him either how to hunt or he have to kill an animal to prove his passage to manhood. And with him doing that, his attachment to his parents stopped now, and he become his sole individual, where he becomes a warrior, fighter, or whatever he's gonna be. So everybody now, with us still attached to our parents, we repeat what our parents did. We become our parents to our own child, and that's called culture. And when you live a culture, you don't evolve. You just stagnate it and you start monitoring time, days. There is no such thing as time or days. Time is only linear because you're counting your boredom. You understand? So that's what mostly is going on with us. And so life is actually more of a linear. The only thing is cylindric is your habits. You repeat your habit on a 7-day cycle. There is no such thing as 7 days. Everything that they give you is to actually configure you to a law that make you operate within the construct of what you believe. So let's say, for instance, you come here to spend time with me, and we don't have no clock, we don't have no date. You wouldn't know what day it is, one. You wouldn't know what time it is if you wasn't really a sun person. Those things is null and void in who you are, because your soul and your spirit don't use time. There is a time in this world for everything. Everything aligned mathematically, synchronicity, sacred geometry. But to make it happen, there is no time. And once you get caught in the time, say you was coming up with this great invention, and there is a time for it to come. So you pause, you go wash your car, you go chill with your friends, you do everything until that time comes. You would be counting those seconds, minutes, days, every time. But if you just live, you will see that time lapsed and froze, and then you come back to it. Everything has a time you come back and forth to, because it's a puzzle of synchronicity. But if you put yourself on a schedule, and say for a woman, they the most one to do it, especially when they're getting up in their 40s. They put themselves on this biological clock, so now they have to get married and find a husband and settle down because society says so. And they literally pick any herb, any dude, and just marry him. As long as he got a job and he's stable, they're gonna marry him. And they're encouraged to do it by their parents and their sisters. Hey girl, you ain't find a husband yet. Well, you're gonna get old and die by yourself, and put pressure on them that didn't even they had in their head, much less to say, take on a partner and both of y'all go kill yourself together. None of y'all neither know what y'all doing. Y'all just sitting around making sure neither one of y'all are sad. Like, you ain't going nowhere. I'm not going. We're both gonna fuck up and just sit here. And so that's what most people is doing when they hit a certain age because of this time thing. They capture other souls and trap them with them in their stagnancy. So, that's important for you to know. Good morning, Sandra. Um, Yes. Also, now let me go back. Breath. Well, now when we go into the breath and circulation, and we talking about yoga, you got to realize first of all what we call in the breath. We never used to breathe prana. I mean breath. I mean air. My bad. Sorry about that. I was looking at my eyes. They like glowing some kind of crazy. But anyways, we never used to breathe air. You know, this is documented by the Egyptians with Typhon. Typhon is breath. The breath is Typhon. That's what's called Typhon. When we breathed, we felt. We felt to where we at. Now, the reason why is because the breath or air is the demions, all the demons, the elemental spirits, the fairies. They're in air. And so we before knew that, and we never breathed through our nose, our mouth, or anything like that. We kept prana coming through it, would come through the crown of our chakra, and it leave through our anus. We breathe through there. That's why you see, like in Patanjali yoga, they actually make you contract your asshole or your anus. Sorry about that. I forgot this is they make you contract it. I don't get that deep into it, but I know there's people that do, and it helps them circulate the prana up and down. You know, for the way I teach it is actually, you know, we could do it now. If everybody wants to breathe some prana, let's breathe some prana together. So breathing prana would be the same as first, you know, you have to get rid of air out your system. Typhon, the dragon, you don't want him in you. This is not the same dragon that we call and use for, you know, the mother, which we're in the dragon, and it's not the same dragon that gives us our psychic ability. This Typhon is also our opposing force, which is air, the breathing part. So once we breathe, we fell. This is Michael. Don't you gather chakras from breathing in the air? No, you don't get no chakras from breathing. You get demons from breathing. You get chakras from light. Chakras and light, not air. All right, now, as far as the breathing, once we fell, we have to learn that to breathe. Yes, sun is the where the chakras is at. All in sun. Chakras is in the glare of light. When you see glare, you're looking at chakras. Now, it's no bad, Michael Deline. Actually, it's my bad for not teaching you these. I need one-on-ones with you so I could explain. I see that you know, you're trying to find it, and I'll help you. So, anyways, now we're gonna do the breathing prana thing, but I'm breaking it down at the same time, so we're slowly building up to it. So now, when we understand that Typhon, when we're talking about that in Egyptian term, it just symbolizes that we took a breath. When we started breathing, we started seeing things vividly. We just used to see blur image. Then y'all started seeing words and letters like this. At first, you only would have seen this, a blur. That's energy. We sensed each other's energy. You didn't see my face detail. You just saw my aura, the colors. That was what we saw first. When we took a breath, everything got clear and vivid to us. So we got trapped into this world, and then we didn't see the spirit world. To see the spirit world, which is called twice born with your eyes, is to see nearsighted or farsighted. That's an evolution in your vision. That's not for seeing little pieces of writing. That's when Europeans came and made us do this stuff. We never would have thought of this, writing and stuff like that. This is because evilness was put on paper to do. Paper came, you're a program. Writing came, you're a program. The printing machine came, we became a program. Okay, so with understanding that Typhon caused the fall and made us see things vividly and clear, and actually we saw blurs, and our eyes is designed to be near farsighted, so we could see deep space, like how you see the pyramids with the whole steward that goes straight to Cyrus or whatever constellation they're looking at. You can see that like a giant microscope if you're near farsighted. If you wear glasses, take off your glasses, man. Learn to see energy. Don't try to see detail. I mean, don't drive like that. Don't read like that. But in your regular sense, don't depend upon your glasses to see, because remember, it's an upgrade. It's just that you're in a city closed compartmental area. You were supposed to be in a spread out area that you see far distances in space and all these other things. There's nothing to look at now with those powerful eyes you have. So they call it nearsighted or farsighted. Give you glasses to read little words, which actually concentrate you into their lower vibratory frequency. So anyways, let's do this prana breathing. So prana breathing requires us to stop taking in CO2 and actually just take the prana out the air. For us to do that, you have two diaphragms in your system. One, your chest is responsible for bringing in the demons, the bad air, your death, everything. It's a rhythmatic breathing. Your diaphragm one, the lower one, which is where your abs is at, your lower stomach, that's a prana one. It works with your sexual organ. It gathers it from your ovaries in women, and in men it gathers the energy from your two scrotum, your two balls. That's always, it comes from the Kundalini snakes and down into your balls, that energy. So it runs up. It don't run down until you learn how to rotate it, levitate, have it. That's what we're going to learn today, a little bit of that. Just playing with y'all. But anyway, so how we do this now is first you breathe out all the air out your mouth. Deep, deep breathing out that you feel your muscles in your lower stomach tighten. They tighten. Blow it all out. Get that tight. Get it all that extra air out. Cobwebs coming out. It's dust. Because you ain't breathed that low in a while. Then don't even inhale through your nose. Bring it in through your nose. The first one, we're going to catch the chest because you're going to get that cobweb out the bottom. So inhale through your nose. Then breathe, hold it for, you always hold it for a minute because it got to rotate now. And then you blow it back out through your mouth, or maybe after 5 seconds. Or blow all the way down till it tightens up in the muscle. Keep going. Blow till you can't blow no more. Till you almost, you know what I'm saying? Blow that much. All right. Back in through your nose again. What you're doing is what we call alkaline in your blood. You're making your blood alkaline, positively charged. So you're gonna get lightheaded if we keep this up. Or if it was, I wasn't talking in between and just focusing on it, you feel lightheaded. Quick way to know that is try to get up real quick, fast doing it. You're gonna spin. You're gonna be dizzy. You might even stumble a little bit. So we're alkaline in the blood right now for this seeing mission we're going on. So once you do that once or twice now, you're ready to start the real one. This is just to get the alkalinity level up. And so once now you're ready, you will breathe out all the air out your mouth again. Once they tighten up, this time you're going to hold it for 10 seconds. After you done breathe, push out everything you have, hold that for 10 seconds now. So I'm going to do it again. And slowly breathe back in through your nose only. This time don't chest breathe. Stop. Now just breathe right in there. Don't breathe through your mouth either. Don't breathe through your nose either. You're breathing through your organs. Try to pull air in through your skin. Like you can't, I'm telling you, don't breathe through your nose, don't breathe through your mouth, but breathe. So now just you breathing within yourself. That's how you rotate the prana. It ain't much you could breathe. You only got a little space, but that little space is all you need. Breathe within yourself. That's prana breathing. You got it? So whenever you want to breathe prana, get prana in your life. Don't chest breathe. Push out all of it. Hold for 10 seconds. And then just take in a little bit. Hold it in there and breathe within that little space. Okay. Now, you got prana breathing. There's more to it because prana breathing requires you to act. You got a brain also in your abdomens, and you got a brain up here. This brain up here don't never work. Forget about it. It needs prana to work, and we don't have prana. So we breathe all the time. I mean, we think and use our abdomen. That's why eating is so important in sexuality and material things, because that's an ab control thing. So now, For us to get to our higher self, we have to trick the body, because the body's tricking you. You think you're in control, but that's the opposite way around. You're doing what the body wants you to do. So here go the trick. You have to now asphyxiate yourself, choke, stifle yourself like you're gonna drown. And all of a sudden you're gonna wake up in your soul like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on here? And that's your higher self. Your higher self kick in and cut off your lower abdomen self now. Your low self stop thinking. Your lower self is the one when you close your eyes, say you're trying to meditate and a whole bunch of thoughts come through. You're in your abdomen, you're down in your root chakras and all that. Higher self, no thoughts. Everything stopped because it's monitoring your whole nervous system. It's monitoring your whole system to make sure you're okay. So you will force that play by actually when you do the 10 count, when I told you to breathe out and hold it for 10, when you breathe in that little bit, and I said breathe now prana, don't breathe prana. Hold that little bit for 10 seconds. You're stifling yourself. You're going to asphyxiate. This is how you jump up to your higher self. You're going to do that, wait 10 seconds. Then breathe back out through your mouth. Wait 10 seconds. Hold it for, then breathe back in just a little. Don't let your chest breathe. Hold that for 10 seconds. You do that 3 to 4 times, and automatically your diaphragm gate open, your pineal, all thoughts stop. This is how you quiet the chitta, the talking in your head. Now you're ready for meditation. All you would do now, close your eyelids and look straight ahead. Remember, the Egyptian picture is there, everything is over the eyelids. You travel through here, right above your eyelids. You don't travel through how you think. This renders you a whole nother world. So you close your eyes and look straight ahead in your eyelids, and it's a world you never saw before. No matter what you do, you can't say it's a car in there, it's a boat in there, it's a house in there. You're looking at a world where everything is a different element. It's made of a different thing. And so for you to go in there and try to find what you see in this world is null and void. It's not going to work. You have to stay there and just look at that. Just keep observing the darkness. Keep observing it. Maybe for a week, a month, 2 months. And all of a sudden you say, oh shit, I noticed this. I've seen this. I remember this. Everything starts now becoming a picture. The law of observation is you observe subatomic particles, they come together to form intelligence. You don't observe them, they're just floating all over the place. Right now, they're floating all over the place. Observation bring about formation. Formation is what we call the tetragrammaton, where you take in something inside yourself and you actually have a formation of it. It starts clouding, comes a cloud. Then through your projection of your thoughts on this cloud ether, it shows you exactly what your projections, your intentions is. Now, it also, besides showing you a two-dimensional picture, it has depth to it, unlimited depth, so you could go in it. And it has unlimited, infinite possibilities in it, so you could do anything in it. So that's how it actually works. You understand? So, you get a full picture of how everything goes. And so, um, I'm gonna read this one to you real quick since I'm in here and I'm looking at this. It has to do the same thing with breathing and respiratory. So let's hear what out of the hatha what they gotta say. They said that organs of respiration consist of the lungs and the air passages leading to them. The lungs are 2 in number and occupy the pleural chamber of the thorax, one on each side of the median line, being separated from each other by the heart. The greater blood vessels and the larger air tubes. Each lung is free in all directions except at the root, which consists chiefly of the bronchi, arteries and veins connecting the lungs with the trachea heart. The lungs are spongy and porous. Well, we know all of this. The air passages consist of the interior of the nose, the pharynx. No, I don't need to explain that part. The air is drawn into the lungs by the action of the diaphragm, a great, strong, flat sheet-like muscle streak. Well, not that even. Okay, I'm just seeing if it has anything of significance, because we was talking about breathing. But back to what we're dealing with now. We finished with that part. I would have loved to show you how this has reference to the sun, the moon, and actually aligning yourself first with them. But this here, I can't find it, and I would rather pre-set it up beforehand, then so I don't be wasting y'all time scrolling. So I'm gonna just jump out of here. Um, I want to show y'all a few things as we continue. Hold on 1 second. With the Zodiac part of it, I got my phone charging. It's dead from last night. Um, I also wanted to show y'all about chakras because Michael was just talking about it. And a lot of us don't know about chakras. So I'm gonna like give you like a general overview so that you get an idea of what chakras is. And I think it was one person who asked me about sexual energy and astral sex, the libido. So I'm gonna bring up that as a subject matter too, using C.J. Jung. He knows about this. It's called libido transfer of energy, and women use it all the time to stimulate men to be, you could say promiscuous or to get their ways. And it doesn't mean to actually engage in a sexual act with anybody. It just means they could imagine that they are and push it onto you and get a free apple at the store and a discount price here and there. And it has an overtone, which is sexual, but to the person, they just see you as a nice, can't say no to person. So that's libido energy, and I will break it down more as far as how it actually affects us and how we use it unconsciously to get our way. All right, so let me see. Um, there's some basics that I have wanted to show you. I'm gonna run through this. This is a great guide too. If you ever seen him, his books is wonderful. He does energy enhancements. It's all about energy with him and unlocking yourself. So I'm gonna just give you a few example. Um, like he got over here, as you can see, energy enhancement level 1. The Kundalini carries the chakras, the Teo. All of these is actually psychic protections and psychic connections that we need to know about. And if we don't know about it, it's actually affecting us, and we don't know its influences and what it's doing to us. So I'm gonna use the basics so that we get a overview. This guy is great for breaking down how everything is, and I'm gonna read this one to start off, as you can see here, if you want to see for yourself. He says energy enhancement level 1 course. Energy enhancement says that there are an infinity of chakras above our head. That's the first line. You see where it says we have infinite chakras above our head. Chakras is actually the light particles, phonons. They're not actually what we say in science. You study them on a microscope, you see little phonons. They're beings, and they're more intelligent, and they know you. They're psychic, so they know everybody. And so light itself is intelligent. It could get up and walk away if it wants, and it does when it's ready. Like the sea could move, and these is what you're gonna learn. So it says energy enhancement says that there are infinity of chakras above the head, up into the center of the universe and above, high above the head, ending in God, just as there are infinity of chakras below the base, as above, so below. Hermes Trismegistus from the Emerald Tablet says that. Increase your intelligence, the parallel process supercomputer in you. Energy enhancement says that each chakra within you and above the head is a computer processor with higher and higher frequencies, speed and capacity as you go higher. So like a parallel processing supercomputer, the more chakras you can get working in the infinity of chakras above the head, and the more chakras you can access, the more chakras you can disblock. The more chakras you can argument, the more intelligent, the more intuitive, the more wise you will be. So that's where I get my wisdom from. I do chakra every day, and chakra work, I don't even speak on it because nobody understand it, know it, and you know, I think it's sacred because those I took oaths for as far as speaking on it, but I can't say a lot of things. I took oaths. And I wanted to tell you, let me speak about that from last night because, somebody asked me, how I sleep or dream. And every night I don't sleep in this realm. I sleep in a different dimension. I get taken away. The Black Horseman is here, like right in my room right here. He stays here, and every night I have to leave with him, and I do it as a regular way I sleep. So I don't sleep here. So I was telling somebody that we was talking, and last night I was conscious of that. It's like, damn, it was kind of weird. I'd leave every night, and so I'm conscious of it, and he comes to get me as usual before I go to bed. And I mean, I have to wear a hat, everything. I have to do the whole thing. It's dead serious. It's dead serious. And so once I start the journey back, I go up. I go up. I keep going up, 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 and it's painful. It's very painful. It's the energy coming and the different levels. It's just a strong energy that by the time I get up there, I just want to lay down and just fall out. So those is where you go up at. These is chakras. Every chakra, look at it as a black hole. Like your cell is a black hole spinning. You go through it to go to another dimension. So I just wanted to tell you about what happened last night, with the horseman, and going back up. I have to come back down every day, the same thing. And when I'm up in there, it's like being in a dream world, a fantasy world. There's many dimensions that is actually different animals. You enter a dimension, like we're in the turtle. This dimension is a turtle, and once you enter it, you're in this world. And you go into every animal, like on the Zodiac, and you enter different dimensions. It's hard to comprehend, but it's true. It's more realer than this world that's not fixed. So let me continue about chakras, and I'm still reading a little bit of this. It says, fusing with the soul chakra. Energy enhancement said that just by fusing with the soul chakra, one can see all your past lives and remove all blockages from all your past lives in one sweep. So you see your blockages come from your past life, like I'm trying to tell you. And it goes on, fusing with higher chakras, the soul modad, the logos Sirius, avatars of synthesis. You see the logos and how it says Sirius. It's very important to understand you have a connection with these beings. And if you don't know your journey, you're going to be fighting them thinking, yeah, you're one of them. You just don't know who you are because you're using Christianity to guide you. Christianity is your way, and they there to deceive you. They're not going to tell you who you truly are. You understand? Okay, so let me read on now. Fusion with the soul chakra, enlightenment is only the first dan, because fused with the monad, second dan, becomes fused with a logos, third dan, become fused with Cyrus, which become fused with the avatar of the fifth. And these is how you actually are. You have different bodies. They fuse together to give you your whole self. You're not one unit. You're a bunch of different units, just like in the movie Jet Leader 1. The same thing if you want to go back to the oldest version of it, which would have been the Game of Death with Bruce Lee. He goes on each floor fighting these masters. That's his ascension. He's showing you his ascension as he go through each floor and fight. That's what that movie is all about. It's a soul movie. All right. Now, I wanted to give you some more. Hold on. In reference to that. All right. The secret of the sacred circular symbol is that of golden bio. The energy flowing in the central governing meridians are mapped over 4,000 years by acupuncture. The central meridian flows down the front of the body and forehead to the throat, to the center of the chest, to the belly, to the genitals, to the perineum, to the anus. The governing meridian flow from the anus to the coilox, up your bones of the spine to the neck base of the skull, over the top of the head and to the forehead. In reality, there are not two meridians, only one, and the energy flows naturally in a circle around the body. So this is the prana energy that we're talking about, this prana that we're breathing, this holy energy that actually give us existence. When you're breathing prana, it was look like this, you're inhaling some type of thing going straight up and down, but at the same time it's resonating out circles within circles, circles within circles. That's who you really are. So I just wanted to bring that to light as we go through it. Now I'm gonna break down to you, as you can see right here with the picture of Samson. and the seven-headed dragon. It's important to understand what is that? What do they mean by that? Well, the easiest way, the 12 labors of enlightenment. This is what it says. Remember the labors of Hercules involving the Hydra, which is the seven-headed dragon. As Hercules chopped off one head with his sword, another three grew back in its place. As Hercules chopped off the head, he cauterized it with the sacred fire, and thus the head grew no more. This is the secret of the meditation taught in ancient energy enhancement. But the fire you have to wait for is an initiation. The Hydra symbolizes the mind. It heads it heads the many thoughts we have which we need to be dissipated through energy enhancement. To stop the mind, we must defeat the Hydra energy enhancement, known as the fast and speedy way to enlightenment. So the seven-headed dragon is your mind, your thoughts. The human mind, it says, is filled with wandering thoughts and desires like a mad monkey. It leaps from tree to tree, branch to branch, and distract the mind from the higher energies from the chakras above the head. Yet this is not the mind. The mind is merely a container, and what the mind contains is madness. The mind contains thought forms, programs, and subpersonalities which have been created by the person and also absorbed by the surroundings. So I'm not telling you anything that, is not aligned and is not known. And, you know, if you follow the way I'm saying, it beats you from reading a million books. Just do it. You understand? I did all the labors for you. So let me read on this next page. He says, these blockages, therefore, program the subpersonalities are fixed, obsessed, filled with desire, which becomes stale and poisonous. They kill only the purified, empty mind can truly live. These mind-created thought forms are the ones which cause the endless chitta in Sanskrit meaning mind and distraction from purpose. These thought form energy blockages cause all the negative emotions of anger, fear, sadness, despair, depression, and Mansonism. These thought form energy blockages create and maintain connections with the drained energy and strength from the lower chakras. So when we say mind is the disease, we mean that the full and sick desire-filled mind is the disease. An empty mind is a perceptive instrument, and meditate is a fast for the mind because it derives out of all blockages and creates an enlightenment. So to meditate and to see these spirits, to see these forces, you're relieving yourself of blockages. You're taking out all the stuff that I'm trying to tell you to see so you could get it out your life. You're not seeing spirits to actually see spirits. Once you see them, they're gone. They're leaving out of you and going in your makaba, not in you. The purpose of the empty mind faculty is to contain the psychic powers of perception and to listen to the energies of the higher chakras above the head, which work at a higher and faster frequency. To listen to the quantum shift in energy from the chakras above the head. The chakras above the head eventually at their highest point connect with Atman, God, Allah, Nirvana, any of the 10,000 names of the one highest energy. So it's like if you don't believe in God, you might as well just forget about life. You ain't gonna have nothing going for you because you don't have nothing to reference yourself to. You have to have some type of reference point, and that's not, you wouldn't know what to do and that nobody can help you. This is why the Zen masters say that Zen joke, I know nothing, which really means I know God. You hear that? To know nothing is to know God. Just like God in Corinthians, he said, God choose the fool to confound the wise. Only an empty mind can contact the energies of God. And when all the blockages are removed, then you can become a candidate for enlightenment. And energy enhancement techniques through many ancient and effective techniques like Kundalini, Chakras, and the super galactic orbit of China, Chinese alchemic Taoism, and the Emerald Tablet of Hermes can help you with these. So you get to see that everything we think we are, we're not. And our job is to wake up, not to stay asleep and believe what we're reading on the internet. All of these is things that help blind us. And to wake up is to really blank yourself out, become blank again. When you blank yourself, you tap in. I'm going to leave it at that so I don't have to get too much into promoting all one book. But, that's very important to know. Now, with this, I want to see if I could pull up for you from Sir Arthur Whittoff on the Serpent Power. What happens when your Kundalini activates? Because it's very important to know you get thrust into a world of darkness. This world of darkness is actually what we saying we're being attacked by spirits, all these other things. It's just your Kundalini activate. And it's not really as bad as we think. Hold on, let me see. Get my other phone. Alright, damn. Yo, I don't know what's going on. I gotta watch some people, man. Let me tell you. After done interviewed or talked to somebody, yo, my phone haven't charged in 2 days. It's stuck at 2%, man. Whoa. I don't know what's going on, but let's just look at some of these crystals. You know, I just did this one last night. This is so beautiful right here. This one is like a marvelous. I call these like the feminine, like, because this is so different. The material it's made out of. But look, isn't this beautiful? You see the little boy right here? And you see it's like a black woman. She got a band on her head or whatever. And she's with this guy. You see his arm right here coming in. You know, I always like to show these things so y'all could be able to read them. Yes, there you go, Nefertiti. So this one is yours, Nefertiti. Call me, I'll give you a discount. This is a loved one. I just made this last night. Now look, this way you see the spirit, the two eyes. He's right there. You see, they don't look human. They look more like Casper. This is Gods of the White. You see his other arm coming down. You know, yes, Sandra. Once I started professing God of the White, look what came in my life. White crystals that renders black beings. How could white crystal render black being, and it's the same thing I'm talking about, and I've been professing. All of a sudden it enters my life for real. I'm the one selling white crystal with black people in it. Look at this guy. You see his head right here sideways? I could already see him. He got on a watch on his hand like his master me right here. And you see him? Yeah, I just made this one. This is so beautiful. Let me bring it up close so you can see it glow. It glitters like crazy. It shines. You know, it's no sunlight. There it is. You see the sun shining on it? So don't think that it's matted. It's shiny now. You see the glow on it? Yeah, I just made this one yesterday. I love it. I love it. You know, because it got so much. If you was to see it, it would look like a feminine because it's so pretty. You know? So, I made that. Let's just look at these. See this, when I say God of the White, here go another one. You see this little piece right here? These are called pocket protection pieces. Please save that one for me. Yes, I got you, Mosey. That's definitely for you. You see, this is pocket protectors right here. Put my name on it. Okay, I could do that, Mosey. I could put your names on it. If y'all want your names on it. See right here? I've done this for real, so if you can see, you know, yeah, I do names, everything. I got the drummer tools and the whole kit for scribing. I do jewelry too. I make jewelry, everything, you know. So when I get it in, I could teach y'all the game. You know, speaking of that, believe it or not, this is how real it is. I done made my own specimen box. This is what's called a specimen box. So I could put this right here on my dresser, because doing this stuff, it gets very disgusting. I done had a way to put my hand through here. Don't dust come in with my crystal. And my Dremel through this side. And I'm in the specimen box, which is see-through up here. And I don't get a dust particle in my house. So I could teach y'all how to make specimen boxes, how actually sand the crystals down, how to polish them up, how to prepare them. That's what I do. And you know, it's an art. So I like this right here. See, God of the White, what color this is? This is a beautiful white crystal right here. You get to see the being right in the middle looking, you know, and this background is this brown, like peanut butter look. So it give you like peanut butter and cream to it look. It's really beautiful. And I made this last night too, which is I call these shadow crystals. Shadow crystals, actually, when night comes on it or when it's dark, you see the image. So for me, it would be, an image will appear as darkness covers it. Like you look now in there, you will see inside of it is where the image is at. As nighttime come, you'll see the image. So these come alive as night hits it. See the image in it? But as day hit it, it's something different. But night hit it, it forms something else. You see the beings and everything come alive in it. So these are shadow crystals right here. It's beautiful, really. And look at this. This little piece right here. This is glittering like crazy. You can't really see how much shine is in it glittering. But I like these little pieces because they show you so much into another world. I gotta figure out the angles of light. What is the best view? Let me see if I could turn it this way a little. Do I get a better view? Well, y'all get the picture. Now, still looking. I see the entrepreneur popping up in you. Glad to see you. Look, you took the step. We're going to work on that bubble gum for Bav. Yes, I want to do it. Let me speak to y'all about entrepreneurship real quick. You know, I'm looking for partners to partner up with me, these crystal things. I still haven't sent out my first order yet because of the simple fact is customs want me to have permits. I have to have mining permits now. And so I'm in the process of paying for these permits and giving everything so these could be shipped out to you. You know, so whoever wants to, you know, donate to help pay for these things, you know, you will receive crystals and a partnership in the business. So I'm looking for business partners to help me clear all these custom certificates. So these will be available in the United States. They'll red tape us when it comes to our spirituality. The same thing happened. I invested a lot of money into herbs. And when it was time to send them over to the U.S., I didn't do my homework. I couldn't send nothing to the U.S. I needed inspection stickers from Department of Agriculture claiming what each herb is, which I'm gonna start doing. So whoever want to become a business partner with me, we could get down together because not only am I gonna flourish with crystals, but also all the organic herbs one by one. I'm gonna have them available to be sold in the U.S. The difference is these herbs is picked fresh. They're not shelved. They're not going to be packaged in BPM products, and you get to receive fresh herbs, not some corporation processing it for you. You know I will support you. That's right, Mosey. I already know your style. Mosey's a big supporter of University of Conscious Science. Let me tell y'all, she made donations plenty of time. And University of Conscious Science survives off a donation, believe it or not. That's how we able to do all this research, and I'm able to find out these things that nobody else know because I'm able to have the time to do it. And it's through donations and people looking out for me. You know, I do a lot of one-on-ones, teachings, and that's where I get my gifts from, which is how it's supposed to be because you're supposed to get your true gifts from somebody who see you. Like you're not supposed to name yourself. Somebody's supposed to name you from what your actions is. So who you are is a replication of who you. I mean, your name is who you are. So you're supposed to name your child after you see his attributes, then you name him, not before in your head. That don't fit them. That's why they have to rename themselves. So whatever we get, like say if I bought this shirt, I could say that I didn't deserve the shirt. I went and got it. But say like I wanted a shirt and then I did something for somebody and said, hey, here's a shirt for you. Then the universe rewarded me with a shirt, and I deserved the shirt because the universe gave it to me. I didn't go and buy it myself, even though I could be an asshole, a fool, an idiot. I don't care about people. So when you walk in a spiritual life, it's like whatever you desire, the universe give it to you. You don't do it yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So I just want you to understand how the universe works. We don't have to go out our way to do anything. Just desiring it and the law of what is it? I can't think of the word that I want to use because I got my own way of wording it. I will use contraction, expansion, and contraction. Giving and taking is the same as expansion and contraction. Universe is this flow. You give and take. You give and take. So you have to give to receive. It's your true blessings. But like hoarders kings, queens that just take other people's stuff, or they have money to buy it. They don't have no empathy, no care. They didn't deserve those things. They're not the true ones. The true ones got it from somebody else giving it to them, because the universe made that person or compelled them to give it to you. And that's what you truly deserve. So you get your rewards from people giving you stuff that's your truth in you, because you earned it. Not something you went and bought in the store. If you gave it to yourself, you didn't earn it. Even though we have to do those things, but I just want you to measure your spirituality as you're going through this, to see what comes to you, because these are all tools that you were supposed to get anyway. All right, so back to these now. As you can see in this one here, I love these. They get to show you a whole image in here. You see like a Trustian looking dude or whatever. And these is what we use to actually look into the parallel. So just showing off some of these. I love this style right here. Damn, it looked like a man with a kufi on. Alright, so let's get back into this now. Look at this right here. Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can show you this. You see the face in there? It looked like one of the Egyptians. Now, this really looked like Nefertiti right here. You see with the head thing up there or whatever? I don't know if you can see him. But I got all styles. Look at this right here. This is just beautiful. If you could just see how much crystal is on this. It's all crystal, but it's still got some dirt on it. That I leave them there because it gives it a natural look. I don't really try to make them all perfect, because that would take away from the nature of it. I give you nature, what also makes the pictures between the dirt and the things. That's what makes the designs of what show God, show the gods. You understand? So I just want you to see, like, in here you see the whole image. You study this for a while, just stare at it, and it comes to life. You see what it is. And it's intelligence. Now, we're gonna get into the serpent power real quick. I had wanted to show you something, but let this call go by. 1 second, I want to grab something for you. Yeah, today's the big boy day. It's right here. Look at this. You see this? This is so beautiful. This all crystals too. All big chunks of it all over in it. As you can see, like in here, it's crystal. When you render this, it'll be a beautiful brown and white. You see the big chunks of, I'm not going to put it too close, so you can see the chunks of crystal in there. So I'm going to show you the big dogs today. This like, as for a potter or a work person, they could do so much and mold so much with this right here. Look at this right here. This is my dog right here. It actually is a standing statue. Look how big this is, right? You see how this is? This is beautiful. Just letting you see the different styles that's on it. Yes, this is huge. I got crystals the size of... Wait, you want to see the all pure crystal? Because this is what I do to God of the white crystals. And I'm going to show you how it looked actually as what they advertise as calcite crystals. Okay. For you to understand that this is small now. You see this? This is all crystal. All of it. This is a solid big ass crystal right here. And I done broke this down 3 times. It was 3 times this size. Alright? And so you get to see, look at it. Look at what's inside of it. You see how it's crystal? It's all crystal all the way through. At the top is, this would be amethyst up here. Amethyst. That's heavy as fuck too. For real. So, I'll be chopping away at that for a while. And they give you stuff like this. This is a piece off of it right here. Look how big and chunky this is right off of that. So you get to see the type of crystal it is. So, all right, let's get back to what we're doing now, the serpent power. All right, in serpent power, you're gonna get to actually understand, like, excuse me, it's a little dusty. If you see a head on a stone, what it really means, go look for that guy. He should recognize him, get visual identification, close your eyes, and take a journey through him, with him. He has something to teach you. If he shows you him or he reveal himself to you, it's for a reason. And so you have to go now and see what he wants. That's what that's about. Okay, now we're gonna get into some of this. I wanted to show you from the serpent power what's really going on, so y'all have a good understanding. You know, what we'll do, we're going to actually stop this for a second and then start right back up and just name the next one serpent power, or y'all want to just continue on this, because I know it's getting kind of long and I don't want, you know, to interfere with the two titles because we're going into something different. But you will understand a lot more by you understanding two parts. You know, one, which is the biochemistry of what is going on with us when we have these Kundalini activations and these spirits and all these things that we're seeing. It's important for us to know what is the actual um, reaction we're supposed to have, how we're supposed to react to it, what are we supposed to do about it. Well, this would then align you with reaction, and so then you won't trip out so much. And so once you be able to do that, you're able to go through and get your spiritual powers, your gifts, your Shakti energy, all that you need with, and with peace, and without tripping out and thinking something is attacking you, somebody's killing you, somebody put a curse on you. That's our regular way of thinking in the West. So this will help you take that out of you and understand that you're evolving to be a higher being. All right. So I guess being that we're here already, I guess we could leave it. Let me get this phone. Okay. 2 days. This phone been on the charger since yesterday, and it's at 21%. It's definitely a red flag for me. My phone is possessed. Okay. Let's get into this. I have a lot to show y'all in reference to this. Now, let's go back to this. There's an image I want to show you from here. It's also in solar biology. Once we get the image and we get the understanding, then you'll be all right. You will understand me more. So let me pull up this image. Here it is. This is it right here. You see this? This is very important for you to comprehend everything. This is showing you that every organ in your body is connected to a zodiac sign. She's standing on Pisces down at the bottom. And as you go up, she has every sign attached to a different organ. Well, these signs actually now, because this image is not doing. You see, each sign now is showing you what archon control what part of your body. You see, Scorpio control your vagina area. You see the Archer right there. The knees, I told y'all, is Capricorn. And you see Aquarius right there, the sins and so forth. And so all of these is what they're trying to show you. You're controlled by other beings. Look what's on the top of the head. You see what's on top of you riding you? The ram. Look what's on your shoulders. This one right there. Hidden. You see? All these is attached to you. Look around your neck. You see him on your neck? He's attached to you. All of this is what controls your endocrinology system. As you can see above here, they're showing you the zodiac signs. You see them in the thing? Well, I just wanted you to see that they have influence on you. You see this guy right here, the lamb on it? This is how you would really look. These is your real self. So I just want you to understand this has been taken out of history and we don't see it no more, so we're unfamiliar with it. But actually, in actuality, that's who you really are. And so by you being able to see this and understand that, you won't start tripping out when you start learning more about yourself. Okay, so let's go now from this. Okay, I'm gonna take you into here. We're gonna look real quick into Tibetan. This is called the Tibetan Buddha book. I'm gonna let you see the cover. It's called Tibetan Yoga. You see it right there? I recommend this book because in this now, this is gonna tell you your wrongs and your right. They got a section where they didn't have the Bible. They just had it's not right to do this and it's not wrong to do that. So I'm gonna give you some of their version. It's 10 things you shouldn't do, 10 things you should do, 10 things you shouldn't participate in, things you shouldn't It's these is important to get. So on that, let me just give you the beginning ones. And you got to realize, like in this picture right here, whenever you see a circle, this is a chakra and this is the logos. This is who you really are in the center of all this. You have to have the circle and you're in the center of it. All right. So the text of the precious rosary, which is what we're going to first look at. It says, a foolish man proclaimeth his qualification. So when you hear a man that's always um, proclaiming his qualification, that's not a wise man. He said, a wise man keepeth them secret within himself. A straw floateth on the surface of water, but a precious gem placed upon it sinketh. It is only narrow-minded men that make such distinctions as this is our friend, that is our enemy. A liberal-minded man soothes affection for all, and is uncertain who may yet be of aid to one. An excellent man like precious metal is in every way inevitable. A villain like the beams of a balance is always very upwards and downwards. Much talking is a source of danger. Silence is the means of avoiding misfortune. The talkative parrot is shut up in a cage. Other birds which cannot talk fly about freely. Ooh, you hear that? Well, these are some of the disciplines, and there's a lot of them in this book because all they give you is just 10 things that you shouldn't do. All right, like the 28. I want to give you the 10 causes of regrets. Let's do that one. As you can see right here, it's titled right there, the 10 causes of regrets. 1. Having obtained the difficult to obtain free and endowed human body, it would be a cause of regret to fritter life away. 2. Having obtained this pure and difficult to obtain free and endowed human body, it would be a cause of regret to die an irreligious and worldly person. This human life in the Kali Yuga, or the age of darkness, being so brief and uncertain, it would be a cause of regret to spend it on worldly aims and pursuits. Why would they tell you that? Listen to that. This human life in the Kali Yuga, or age of darkness, being so brief and uncertain, it would be a cause of regret to spend it in worldly aims and pursuits. Isn't that what they tell you to do in this world? To pursue your aims and to seek out worldly things? But in here telling you that's wrong to do, you need to focus on yourself, unlocking yourself and becoming back the angelic being. That's what they're concerned about because that's what you take with you when you go. You can't take those worldly things that the government having you out here pursuing because you want to look cool or be part of the family. It said one's own mind being of nature of the Dharmakaya uncreated would be a cause of regret to let it swallowed up in the morals of the worlds of illusion. The holy guru being the guide on the path, it would be a cause of regret to separate from him before attaining enlightenment. So you hear that. It says at number 5, the holy guru being the guide on the path, it would be a cause of regret to be separated from him before attaining your enlightenment. 6. Religious faith and vows being the vessel which conveyeth one to emancipation, it would be a cause of regret where they be shattered by the forces of uncontrolled passions. 7. The perfect wisdom have been found within oneself in virtue of the Guru's grace. It will be a cause of regret to dissipate it amongst the jungles of worldliness. To sell like like what is it, to sell like so much merchandise, the sublime doctrine of the sage would be a cause of regret, and as much as being any, what it says, and as much all beings are of one kindly parent, it would be a cause of regret to have a virgin from thus down disowning your own or abandoning yourself. Well, they have it all. They got the ten things you must require before you leave here. Like having this estimated one's own capability, one require a shoreline of action to carry out the commands of a religious preceptor and require confidence and diligence. 3. To avoid error in choosing a guru, the discipline requires knowledge of his own faults and virtue. 5. Keenness of intellect and unwavering faith are required to tune with the mind of the spiritual preceptor. 5. Unceased watchfulness and mental alertness, grace with humility are required to keep the body, speech, and mind unsoiled by evil. 6. Spiritual armor and strength of intellect are required for the fulfillment of one's heart's vow. So it could goes on. 10 things that need to be done. I recommend this book. So, I will go more into it because that's not the actual subject matter. The subject matter is for us to realize, because I'm narrowing it down, is to us to realize when your Kundalini activate, it's like you're gonna go through a series of changes. I think I got one more that says what happens when you activation. I think that would give us a better understanding of this Kundalini thing. And you don't have control over your Kundalini. Right now, your Kundalini could be activating because you're talking to me, and you don't have nothing to do with it. So it's set for us to actually pop one day. Somewhere in time, you're going to have it. And so be prepared and don't be afraid. Okay. To end off, I'm going to run through some basics information so that we understand. When we was talking about colonization, we spoke about the mestizos, the mixing of the blood. And as you can see, I got them circled. A Mexican mestizo, which is what most of the population is today, it says is a mix of French, Indian, Portuguese, and Dutch. All right, the three colonizers. Mestizo. Google the word right now with me. Mestizo. A mestizo is a person of American Indian and usually white. It doesn't say black. So you got to understand now. I'm going to break it down in detail. European ancestry. The word comes from the Spanish, which means mixed. It can also refer to a person of French, Indian, Portuguese, or Dutch Indian heritage. A race of mestizos emerged in Latin America by the mid 1500s, which changed the character of the regions. Historian Arturo Rosales wrote in the Hispanic American Almanac in 1993 that in central Mexico, the sexual appetite of the Spaniards led to the numerous liaisons with the native women, which would have been not what the not Mexican woman. The consequences was a large progeny of children who were half Spanish and half Indian. By 1821 and the end of colonial rule of Mexico, the possible variation of mestizos numbered more than 100. Mestizo population spread northward with mixed Mexico during the colonial era. They also emerged elsewhere as Europe arrival in new territories around the world and subjugated native populations in Latin and North America. Mestizos entered the rank and file of armies and were wage laborers who worked in mines and fields. It was a race that was created and during a colonial times dominated by European incursion. So you get to see mestizos as a created race. It's not a pure race from God. And so there's only one pure race. The rest is a mix. And so you see a mestizo don't have nothing to do with an indigenous black person. It's a mix. They also call them this word right here. If you want to look them up, they're called tressicoons. And this is where we get the word coons from. And it's more not a black thing. You got to understand. A regular mestizo is a French. Your French is a mestizo. Mexicans is mestizo. The whole French race is a mestizo that they up to now can't figure out how did they do it, because mestizos, as far as they're concerned, or these mix, is not supposed to have kids after 3 generations unless there's some type of divine intervention. So the Tresicum, let's read off that. It's an offspring of a white and a mulatto. So you see what a Tresicum is. You get to see. You could Google that word, and it says 1760 from Spanish, Tresicum from Trecio, or third person, from Trecio, which is Latin, which means third, from the root of tres, so called from being third in descent from a Negro. You see right there? The end word you just see from a Negro, but that's what, if you want to Google that word. I'm just giving y'all stuff that I've been doing. They also call quadroon. This is a real word too. You could Google it. Quadroon. Quadroon, a person who is 1/4 black by descent. That's what it says right there. So I'm putting you on to these terms and what they do and whatever. So keeping it going, let's discuss silver right now, because a lot of people ask me about silver. And here, these is all my little notes. Y'all could screenshot them if you want to. You know, I don't know if they'll come up. Or you could ask me to send you this. This is a fold of research. It says, so silver has been known to drive away many types of paranormal critters and enchantments, such as vampires, werewolves, boyergemens, hexes, and witches. It also keeps the undead at bay. Many coffins had silver nails hammered into them to keep the newly dead from rising. From what I've read in many occult books, silver is better than iron when it comes to protecting your home. You can place an amulet or jewelry near a main entrance and it will keep the spirits away. All right, you see there's only 2 things that can help you, silver and iron. These is your protectors right here. Silver and iron, not gold, not platinum. Only silver and iron. I wear stainless steel. Mars. Iron is Mars. Mars protect me. You understand? But I am a Jupiter. I still represent the same Zeus, Jupiter. We're all from the first, you know. So I'm just putting you onto silver. All right, yes, Sandra, I'll send it to you. As a matter of fact, if you send me your number, I'll send it to you right as we're talking right now. I just sent you the one on silver just now. You should be receiving it. And I'm going to soon be doing video chats where, you know, I'm going to do my FaceTime and you could actually talk to me while we talk out loud and get into it. Okay, now you done understood those two with the Tresicum, I wanted to show you all, this is now the laws of hybridity. It's called intermixture of certain races. I'm reading some real stuff to you now because I have to fill in a lot of things that I'm not going to be able to give you all the missing part. So here goes. I'm just going to give you the pieces and direct you to the book. It says, when a monogenesis is called upon to demonstrate that all human intermixtures are eugenics, the first example which he ordinarily cites is that of the mulattoes in America. The issue of union of European colonists and African Negroes. This example, which has for a long time been considered as decisive, might not be without a reply, for exist races differing much more than us than the races of the western coast of Africa. But the question here is whether it be quite true that all American mulattoes are eugenics, meaning could make babies. We meet first with the first name, namely the union of the Negro with the white woman is frequently sterile. So they're trying to say if a black man has sex with a white woman, the baby come out sterile. Whilst that of a white man with the Negroes is perfectly fecundated, meaning that a white man can impregnate a black woman. You hear this? They said, this might tend to establish between these two races a species of hybridity analogous to the existence between goats and sheep, which we have termed unlivered, UNILATE, unilateral hybridity. Professor Severus, fully alive to the gravity of this fact, has given the following explanation. One of the characteristics of the Ethiopian race consists in the length of the penis compared with that of the Caucasian and concludes with the length of this dimension coincides with the length of the uterine canal in the Ethiopian female, and both have their cause in the form of the pelvis in the Negro race. Their result from the physical disposition that the union of the Caucasian man with an Ethiopian woman is easy and without any inconvenience for the latter. The cause is different in the union of an Ethiopian with a Caucasian woman who suffers in the act. The neck of the uterus is pressed against the sacrum so that the act of reproduction is not merely painful but frequently non-productive. This explanation, though based upon an anatomical character perfectly correct, is yet far from being satisfactory. But we have quoted it here to show that one of the two most intimate monogenesis of our epoch has emitted a perfect, authentic. It ends right there. What they're saying, if you didn't catch it, is that an Ethiopian man penis is too big to have sex with a white woman, but a a white man penis is small enough to have sex with an Ethiopian woman. That's what they're trying to say. And in saying all this, they're trying to say that black men shouldn't have sex with a white woman because it will hurt them because their penis is too big, but it's okay for them. And so you get to see these people research all of this down into detail. They're in Ethiopia checking up into every little details, the sexuality, everything. So you get to understand that they actually was doing more research than we think. This is what I'm gonna break it down to you. These N words. I wound up googling these, not googling. I got the dictionary right there. The words they all come behind each other. Niger, Niger Congo, Nigeria, nigger seed, nigrad, right? Nigger, niggerling. All right. This is not racist. I'm just teaching y'all something. Niger, Niger, a republic Northwest Africa, formerly part of French West Africa. West Africa is French. We know that now. All right. Now we got Niger Congo, a group of African language inclined EW, Igbo, Yoruba, and the Bantu language. So Niger Congo is the language. Nigeria, a republic in West Africa, member of the British Commonwealth, formerly a British colony and protectorate. So you see, Nigeria is already colonized. Niger seed, Niger seed, the black seed of a tropical African composite plant, yielding an oil used as food in the manufacture of soap. Now, nigger, a Negro, a member of any dark-skinned race. All right. I just wanted to give you those because I had those there. All right. This is just stuff that actually, like I said, I put out so that everybody understand these terms when they wrote them. Okay, now I want you to actually see that there was something going on back in the 1600s and the 1700s with surgeon generals telling that races should not mix and it would lead to actual sterility. And that's what we're looking into now with the difference in actually what's going on. For us to understand these terms, I don't know if you could see these. You see Negro, Negress, Negrettes. These is in a dictionary, right? And so I'm like, what is this? But they're real. We're going to start with Negress, Negre, Negress. A woman, a Negro woman or girl. Negrillo, Negrillo, right? It tell you to see Negress. Okay, Negrito, Negrito. Anthropology, any of various dark-skinned, short-statured people of the Philippines, the Malay Peninsula, the Andaman Islands, and southern India. Negritude, the historical culture and social background considered common to Negroes collectively. That's a word, negritude, Negritude. Then you have Negro, one of the major races of mankind, including the indigenous people of Africa south of the Sahara, characterized generally by brown to black pigmentation. You know, and then you have Negroid, Negroid, of pertaining to or having the characteristics of the Negro race. So you have Negroid and you have Negro. Then you have Negroism, the doctrine of advocacy of civil rights and civil liberties for Negroes equal to those enjoyed by others. So you had so many different versions of this one cause. All right. The word was fecundity or whatever. The ability to produce an abundant offspring of new growth, the ability to produce many new ways. That's important to know because fecundity is what they say is wrong with us. And I'm reading from the book of hybridity. Amongst the facts quoted to prove the sterility of human crossbreeds, some are of great value, and we shall examine them in the sequel. Others have been wrongly interpreted, while some of are far more exact. I have already pointed out at cause of error which was not taken into account and which occurs frequently. It is the change of climate which alone is capable of sterilizing a race transplanted in the midst of another race. So listen to this real quick. I'll say it again. I have already pointed out a cause of error which was not taken into account and which occurs frequently. It is the change of climate which alone is capable of sterilizing a race transplanted in the midst of another race. So by transplanting a race within another race, you cause sterility within that race that was there. So it says, before attributing a defect of fecundity, that's the word I gave y'all what it means, before, to the mixed descendants of an immigrant race, we must see whether in the same country the individual of that race may be more prolific in their direct alliance. It is known, for instance, that the Mamelukes, if you want to Google this, Mamelukes, originating from the regions of the Caucasus, which is the Caucasus Mountains. These is white people, their name is Mamelukes, have never taken root in Egypt, where nevertheless formed 1250, the epoch of their evident until 1811, the period of their extermination. So you had these people called the Mamelukes that left the Caucasus Mountain and resided in Egypt from 1220 BC till 1811, and they was exterminated by somebody. So this is their story. It says their caste has always formed a notable part of the population. They could only maintain themselves by reinforcements which they annually receive from the native country. So you see it's saying that they only could exist by sending down women from their native country to reinforce their lives, to give them back a life. So it says now, it is known, for instance, that the Mamelukes originated from the region of the Caucasus, have never taken root in Egypt, whether nevertheless from 1220, the epoch of their advent, until 1811, the period of their extermination, their caste has always formed a notable part of the population. They could only maintain themselves by reinforcements which they annually receive from the native country. And though not half a century has elapsed since the great massacre of Cairo, there remains no truce of them on the borders of the Nile. Such being the fact, it was the conclusion, therefore, that the descendants of the Mamelukes and the Egyptians were hybrids of little or no fecundity, meaning they could not procreate. Gideon has thus excuse me. Gideon has thus interpreted, and Puchnet has accepted the interpretation. This, however, is not the real cause of sterility of the Mamelukes in Egypt, and Volney, who towards the end of the last century has carefully observed and studied the race, offers the following remarks on them. Seeing that they have existed in Egypt for centuries, one would be apt to believe that they have reproduced themselves by the ordinary process of breeding, but if their first settlement in a curious fact, their perpetration is not less so, For the 5 centuries they have been Mamelukes in Egypt, yet not one of them has left a subsistent line or bloodline. There exists not one family of the second generation of any of those people. So you get to see that once you start mixing and you start leaving your territory, you're subject to sterility. And this is documented in all medical journal books where you notice for us we had the wagon train, or if you were saying Christopher Columbus, they kept sending reinforcement. That include women's, because sterility was a big major issue back then, but they're not telling us about it. And I wanted to actually read the part where now they was warning the United States about actually if they bring people from the United States, what will ever happen. As I'm scrolling, I come up on this. This is called the Everstrom. I don't know if you can see this clear. The Everstrom. The Everstrom. I want to read this to you so you understand something. You know, if you want to, just tell me to send it to you. This says the thought body of a man has conscious ethereal counterpart that may watch over him and warn him of the approach of death or some other danger. The more the physical body is active and conscious of external things, the more is the thought body stupefied. The sleep of the body is the awakening of the Everstrom. During that state, it may communicate with the Everstrom or other persons, of which those of the dead. It may go to certain distances from the physical body for a short time, but it connects with that body is broken at the latter when you die. So you have a body called an Everstrom, or it's called your casual body, that we don't know about. I'm going to give you some of these terms that we don't have actually now today, that was given to us by Paracelsus. He was in the spiritual world and he named everything for us so that we get an idea. We had these things called elementaries. You know, the elementary, it says the astral corpse of the dead from which the spiritual part has departed, but in which nevertheless the intellectual activity have remained. The ethereal counterpart of the once living person, which will sooner or later be decomposed into an astral elements, as the physical body is dissolved into the elements to which it belongs. These elementaries have, under normal conditions, no consciousness of their own, but they have received vital form of mediumistic person, and thereby for a few minutes be, so to say, galvanized back into life and artificial consciousness, when they may speak and act and apparently remember things as they did during life. They very often take possession of elementals and use them as masks to represent deceased persons and to mislead the credulous. The elementaries of good people have little cohesion and evaporate soon. Those of wicked persons may exist a long time. Those of suicides and have life and consciousness of their own as long as the division of principles has not taken place. These are the most dangerous. So you see, what we think is our friends and we visiting spirits and we doing altars to, you got elementaries that's evil, that's been here doing things to us and we don't know, and we worshiping them and not knowing that they're elementary spirits. And until you study these things and you got deep into it, you got to be careful who you're making altars to and who you're praying to. You don't know what you're doing. All right, so you have elementium, the invisible elements of or basic principle of all substance that may be either in a solid, earthly, liquid, watery, or gaseous air or ethereal fiery state. It does not refer to the so-called simple bodies or elements in chemistry, but to the invisible basic substance out of which they are formed. So you see, you're formed from an invisible body that forms a physical body, just like there's an invisible earth that forms the physical earth. All of these is real, you know, and you got to understand that they have a part of you. Now we have the eavesdrom, which I just read to you. Let me see, this is the same thing. All right. If y'all like Paracelsus, Paracelsus is the master. I could teach you a lot through him because he knows every spirit in the astral world, spent time with them, and wrote every one of their attributes. Everyone. Some of us is in relationships with them, have kids with them, and don't even know that, man. That's why I say the spirit thing is way deeper than you think. It's like I'm just touching the top of skimming through it because we're not in there yet. But where we go and where we're headed is deep as hell, man. All right, now let me see. I was gonna continue with these are all just like things like I had in my folder, but I'm reading it back to you. If among the two primitive races, these obtain a very large numerical inequality, the predominant race soon absorbs the other. So you see, when you put two races together, remember when we're talking about moving some race where another race is at? The dominant race is going to dominate. Even if it's one dominant person from one race and you put him among a race, eventually he's going to dominate a whole 100 people or whatever the race. So this is what they studied and they came to the conclusion. So it says, if among two primitive races, those obtain in a very large numerical inequality, the predominant race soon absorbs the other. After 2 or 3 generations, the less numerous races count scarcely one representative, and the crossbreeds are fused in the more numerous races. So hybrids is the ones that's going to keep producing, and the root race, the original, is going to die off. He says the latter thus returns to a state of original purity. The mixed race has only a transitory duration and leave no trace of its existence. Mayans, Toltecs, all the Spanish races, no traces of their existence. Greeks, Romans, no traces of their existence. Hybrids is going to be gone. We follow them, we're going to have no traces either. I teach you truth, man. Truth that's deep. If one, on the contrary, the two races, though numerical unequal, are in sufficient proportion that neither can absorb the other, both persist indefinitely beside each other upon the same soil. You see that? When we're equal, we both can live together. But there's a domination over us. We're a threat. And this is what's going on. It's all about genetic survival here. No matter what you want to call white people, call black people, it's about one thing: genetic survival. Your genes is fighting to survive through whoever is the race, whatever you want to call it. So you got to understand what's going on. Okay. The hybrid race which they engender seems also to persist indefinitely, but only in appearance, for they constantly intermarry with the pure race, while the latter marry between themselves. The mixed race is again thus in every generation a contingent equal to what its losses. Those which represent it at present are not the descendants of those who represented the mixed race 5 or 6 generations back. So what happens is we'll mess with our mulatto mix, but when we feel threatened about ourselves and we know our consciousness is going to die, our kids is not going to make it, we go back to a black dude or something that is the pure and make with that person just to prolong our genetic line. So that's basically what it's breaking down. All right, I might urge some objection against the first point, for it does not seem to me to demonstrate that in a mixture of very unequal proportions, the less numerous races exist no influence upon the other race. I acknowledge, however, that the influence, if it exists, is sufficient slightly to be set aside. The second point is much more serious, for if I accept without restriction, we must admit that in eugenics, hybridity does not exist in mankind, and that all crossbreeds, whatever their origins, whether they are from nearby approaching or distant races, not merely the descendants of all white and Negro races, but also of Celtics and Kimmeris, are incapable of engendering a durable posterity. For my part, I believe that such is actually the case with certain mongrel breeds. I believe that in the genuine Homo, there are very unequal degrees of eugenics hybrid, but after having recognized that eugenics by hybrid does exist between dog and wolf, and hare and rabbit. So basically, only the pure races. This is all right. I was even enabled on the statics of recruiting to give my inquiries in regard to stature, a rigorous precision. I cannot in this place enter into any ideas. I am obliged to refer to the reader to the memoirs which is published by the Anthropological Society. In point of fact, it was merely because eminent men have for some years doubted the existence of eugenics hybridity in mankind. That is became necessary to demonstrate so evident a position that the population of France in at least 19/20 of our territory presents an equal degree of characteristics of mixed race. So you see, France itself is a mixed race. It's what we call the mestizo. This don't play. When it break this down to you, man, it tells you who everybody is. And France wasn't even predicted to make it. You don't realize France is a very special place because they was actually the South Americans, and then they made it with the Portuguese and the English, and then migrated from South America to France and established themselves between those two places and actually survived. The Mexicans and all of them is failed for death, just like the Toltecs and the Mayans. All of them gonna die because they don't actually say they're black. They hate black, and the spirits know that, so they purposely die. You cannot hate yourself. The truth is the truth. Um, hate touching on them subjects, but I have to, man. I got to teach y'all the truth. And if I don't teach y'all the truth, we're gonna be misled, and we are gonna wind up being extinct. All right. So, um, I want to show y'all now just the basics so that if y'all didn't get to see the hybridity that is taking place in the world and sterilization, I could show you it from, all right, here you go. It has even been asserted that the United States of America, where Anglo-Saxon race is still predominant, but which is overran by immigrants or various other races, is by that very circumstances threatened with decay, inasmuch as the continuous immigration may have the effect of producing a hybrid race containing future sterility. I want you to read that between the yellows. Future sterility is the second yellow. So it tells you that America is headed for sterility because of the hybrid mix. And so we be trying to say it's the 5G, is this, is that. How do you explain this that was written in like the 1800, the 1600, saying that we're going to be sterile in the future? So let me just finish on the. It says, do we not know that on the faith of this um, progenification, a certain part has proposed that restriction of foreign immigrants, and even in England, there have been serious men who have predicted from ethnological causes the overthrow of the United States, just as Ezekiel predicted in the ruins of Alexandria. This is just saying that they saying the hybrids is going to take over, and it wind up happening like that. You know, just for the record, this is what Google looks like if y'all never see it. This just Google just I can't see the top. But sperm count droppeth in Western world. Sperm count among Western men have halved in 40 years. Western men seem dropped in sperm count, but cause remains a mystery. That's not true. They know what it is. They know it's the hybridity. The colonization did this to us. So you could go and search in Google right now. You see every brown. And if you want to read the book, this is the name of the book, The Phenomenon of Hybridity, which break down all the races, where they come from, and the hybridism that colonialism caused on us. So, you know, I'm just gonna leave you on that note with just that. I got so much more, but everything else will break down into other posts. But that will cover like colonization. We was talking about it and what would happen from the hybrids and the mixing. Is hybrid even real? Am I saying something that's feasible? Well, I just showed it to you. You know, it's not something I'm making up. And I got thousands of books that actually promotes what I'm saying. And I want you to look into it yourself to find your own truth. And you see this is a Google one, sperm count 0. We're actually having a countdown to saying that, look, a strange thing has happened to men over the past few decades. We've become increasingly infertile, so much so that within a generation we may lose the ability to reproduce entirely. Do you read that? We will lose the ability to reproduce entirely in a few years because of this. You understand? Here go another one, sperm count down. I'm just giving y'all information to go look up for your family, for everybody. And look at the places where the sterility is at. If you can see this, this is where sterility is at, where I circled in the red. And I want to read that to you so you'll understand what this is saying. It's saying, London Reuters, that's the newspaper, sperm count in men from America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand have dropped by more than 50% in less than 40 years, researchers said on Tuesday. So, if you notice, America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, the places all that we colonized. That gives off a red flag right there. Only places that was colonized is having these sterility problems, you know? So I want you to understand that, and I did the research so you can see it. This is all sperm count stuff. As you can see, it has to do with us. What's circled up there, it says CNN, sperm count on men in North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand are plummeting according to a new analysis published Tuesday. Among these men has been a 52% decline in sperm concentration and a 59% decline total sperm count over a nearly 40-year period ending in 2011. The analysis published in the Journal of Human Research. So I don't know if y'all think this is a joke, a game. I hope you don't think this is a game, because you're going to wind up paying for it in the future if you think this is a game. So I also now going to read to you that I told you I have a dictionary that actually shows the family, what does the word family means. See the dictionary right here? This is the word family, and this is the meaning of family. Now, only thing I'm going to read to you is the bottom, this part right here, down here. And, if you want me to send you this, or you could read it yourself. Read this bottom down here if you can see what it says. I'll leave it there for a second. If you can't read it, I'll read it to you. It says, family in its origin meant servants, but its more modern and comprehensive meaning, it signifies a collective body of persons living together in a household within one family. So the word right here is the important part, servant. Servant to who? The government. So the word family originally in its origin meant servant. So you see that I'm not making this up when I tell you these things. And in the Bible it tell you don't be a servant to nobody. All right. So on that note, if you want some of my files, I could send it to you. Give me an email address, and I could send you all the information that you want as far as my research. Because I'm gonna be doing books. All of these is gonna be in books in the future. I write a whole bunch of books coming. I'm just doing the groundwork now. All right, so look at this one right here. This is so beautiful. You see this? This is like, you can see the God just laying there with his arm to his head. You see, it's beautiful. Yes, this is half how we like it right here. Half crystal, half limestone. Limestone is the mother of the crystal. It's like it gives birth to the crystal. So limestone is very important. It's also our bones. So we do limestone a lot here. It's expensive too. It's the foundation of just about everything. I'm going to be coming back on, though. We're going to get into it. Can you send me some titles, please, to the books? Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to do some videos and actually, put all the book titles in it. And I'm going to start organizing myself, because I'm speaking freestyle. I'll start doing it out the book straight up so that nobody believe that I'm trying to put. I never said nothing out of a book because I like to prove myself. I'm a very outspoken person when it comes to proving myself. So anything I told you, I want you to challenge it. If you don't believe me, I'll give you the book to support it and multiple books at that. I can't catch these in a good angle to make you see the beauty of it. It's just not there. Let me see if I do it. Yeah, you can see it like that. Now you see it. See it? Isn't it so beautiful? Look at that. It's a beautiful piece. But I want to thank y'all for tuning in again as usual. And I'm gonna be back this evening, and we're gonna okay, great, yes, Mosey, and we're gonna be talking about seeing into the past, present, and future. So we're gonna get into magic and the magi. It's coming up this evening. I'll catch y'all later. Have a blessed day. University of Conscious Science.